Hello and welcome to Untwisted Threads. This is Sandnes Garn Borstet Alpakka. This 96% brushed alpaca, 4% nylon yarn features 38 colors. The colorway that we chose is 3553 Dusty Plum Rose. This 50-gram skein with 110 meters or 120 yards works up as a worsted weight yarn. The suggested gauge on a US 8 to 10 3/4 or 5 to 7 millimeter needles is 12 to 18 stitches per 4 inches or 10 centimeters. For our swatch, I will be using a 4.5 millimeter needle size. In today's video, we're going to review and score Sandnes Garn Brushed Alpakka using our 5 categories, which are availability, softness, traction, durability, and cost, to help you decide if this is the best yarn for you and your next project. Stay tuned until the end for a few pattern recommendations as well. Would you like to see how all of our yarns compare to one another or enter to win our monthly giveaway? Join our free newsletter linked in the description box below. Let's get started. For availability, we give Brushed Alpakka a score of 3 out of 5. Sandnes Garn is a Norwegian brand, but it's still very loved here in the States. Unfortunately, it is not sold on any larger craft websites that we know of, but that just means that you get to support smaller yarn shops online like Wool & Company and Mother Knitter here in the United States. For softness, we give it a score of 4.8 out of 5. I'd say this is a brushed alpaca yarn alright. Wow, this yarn is very round and has those traditional long alpaca fibers sticking away from the core strand. Honestly, the length and the amount of fibers could even be a little overwhelming for some. Just from the skein, it wasn't as soft as I was expecting, but of course working with it and after blocking changed my mind. For a comparison, it is softer than Drops Alpaca and not quite as soft as Isager's Soft Fine. I'd say it's pretty comparable to Camo Rose Snefnug. For a micron count or softness scale rating, perhaps due to the brushed nature of the yarn, we think it's softer than your typical alpaca yarns at around a 17. As described on their website, Sandnes Garn explains that brushed alpaca consists of an alpaca fiber twisted together with a strong nylon thread, which holds everything together when the alpaca fibers are brushed. You can absolutely see the darker nylon fiber content in the center, as it seems to have taken the dye a little bit differently than the alpaca. Alpaca fibers itself is about 3 times warmer than sheep's wool, so it insulates pretty well. Their fibers are breathable and hollow, so you can be warm in the cold and cool in the winter temperatures. I also want to mention how beautiful this colorway is. This warm, dusty blush is right up my alley. For traction, we give it a score of 3.5 out of 5. For starters, I really like the thick core or base of the strand of yarn. I have a feeling this core is what makes the yarn look less like just fluff or mohair and more opaque. It did help me grasp the yarn a little bit better too. The yarn did want to stick to itself in the skein, but it wasn't necessarily like Velcro when knitting with it. The core itself didn't split, but my needles kept getting caught on the brushed fibers. The traction got better some as I kept working with it, but I still wasn't able to knit at my normal speed. I do recommend metal or nickel-plated needles like these ones when working with it, and to really pay attention to your stitches and where your needles are going. For durability, we give it a score of 4.5 out of 5. Due to its natural elasticity, alpaca is durable and resistant to wear and tear. Alpaca and nylon combined together can make a pretty durable strand of yarn. But similar to other non-superwash treated wools, you will need to hand wash your garment made with this yarn to prevent felting of the fibers. And when it came to the stress test, because it is so brushed, we couldn't recognize any pill balls forming, just a slight amount of alpaca fiber collection if you're really looking up close to it. For cost, we give it a score of 2.2 out of 5. For being a 50-gram skein, you can expect to pay $14.50 US per skein, but it's probably cheaper in Europe. That breaks down to about 12 cents per yard, meaning a size medium sweater would cost approximately $116. I would be certain it is exactly what you're looking for before you purchase a sweater quantity. Overall, we give Sandnes Garn Brushed Alpakka a score of 3.6 out of 5. I wanted to enjoy this yarn more, but it was a little difficult to work with and has that large price point. I love the number of colors available, its thick core, and its softness, of course, but my wallet is a little hesitant for me to make an entire sweater with it if I'm not absolutely in love with it. So we had a little look on Ravelry and wanted to share a few pattern recommendations with you, hopefully to inspire you if you're wanting to use this yarn for a project of your own. The first pattern is the U2 cardigan by Leeni Hoi. It comes in 6 sizes with finished bust measurements ranging from 38 to 56.5 inches with a recommended 4 inches or 10 centimeters of positive ease. This cardigan is worked seamlessly top down. First, you work the yoke, separate the sleeves from the body, and work both. Finally, you pick up stitches from the front and neck for the front panel from hem to neck and back and add 5 buttonholes. The instructions are intended to familiarize you with abbreviations, which will help you tackle more demanding instructions later on, so they suggest that it's pretty beginner friendly. The next pattern is the Cozy Coco hood by Veronika Lindberg. It comes in 1 size with a finished neck circumference excluding the double knitted placket of 22.5 inches. It is recommended to knit this with 1 strand of mohair and 1 strand of merino, meeting a DK weight gauge, but I think you could try and use 1 strand of this yarn. It would just make more of a dense fabric. It is worked from the top down in a honeycomb stitch. The work starts by casting on stitches at the forehead and working the top of the head part flat. Stitches are picked up around the right and left edges of the top of the head part and worked flat until the neck. Lastly, stitches are picked up around the face to create a wide double knitted tie strap with a smaller needle size. The last pattern is the Hazel dress by Sandnes Design. Created with this yarn, it comes in 4 sizes with finished bust measurements ranging from 45 to 54 inches and recommends quite a bit of positive ease. It is worked from the top down, starting with stitches for the back yoke. It is worked flat until the underarms before being put on hold. Stitches are picked up and knitted flat for each front shoulder before connecting the front and back sections in the round. Stitches are also picked up and knit in the round for each of the sleeves. Have you used Sandnes Garn Brushed Alpakka yarn before? What yarn would you like for us to do a review on next? We would love to hear your thoughts and recommendations in the comments below. And if you enjoyed today's review, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.